7 o'clock. We're almost there. Is the mic on? Yes, it is. Nope, you're in. We're almost 7 o'clock. It is now 7 o'clock. Let me get my electronic gavel up. Welcome to the regular Tega City Council meeting. Today is Monday, May 20th, 2019. Will you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Welcome, everybody. Let's get right to it. We have some special presentations today. I'd like to just make some special announcement that this is National Building Safety Month. This is also National Safe Boating Week. The rest I'd like to make a change to the agenda if I can. Without objection, to add item 1A. Where is item 1A? Did I do with that? 1, 2, 3. Come on, Dave. Where is it? If I may add Resolution 2019-04, a resolution declaring May 5th through May 11th, 2019 as Municipal Clerks Week. This Municipal Clerks Week in South Carolina recognize and honor the valuable contributions that municipal clerks make to the cities and towns in South Carolina, whereas the position of municipal clerk is the only municipal staff role that is required by state law regardless of the municipality's size and form of government, and whereas all 271 cities and towns in the state are required to have a municipal clerk, and whereas our own Sylvia Szymanski plays a critical and varied role to support the mayor, city council, and city staff, whereas municipal clerks' responsibilities under state law include giving notice of meetings to council and members and the public, keeping minutes and the proceedings, and performing other duties. Whereas with advancements in software and hardware, municipal clerks have become increasingly adept, skilled at using technology to prepare materials for meetings, attend agenda packets, to record meeting minutes, and to manage public records. Therefore, it be resolved by the City Council of the City of Tega declares May 5th through 11th, 2019 as Municipal Clerks Weeks in South Carolina to recognize and honor the valuable contributions Sylvia Szymanski makes to the city. Signed, all of us up here this day, this 20th day of May, 2019. I know, I couldn't help it. Well, you'll do that next year, I hope.
You're the best. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Does everybody get closer in so we get a picture?
Oh, come up here. Yeah, come up here.
Or we can come down there.
Or, yeah. What looks good? What looks good? Does that look okay? Yeah, okay.
Okay. Thank you. They made me do it. I didn't want to do it. Okay. Now for the rest of these. Yeah, I'm going to leave them there.
Trying to get a little higher? Not for all of us.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Is this on? Jim, is this on?
Sounds like it.
Yes. Okay, that's the rest of them. Let's see if I get them in the right order. Since it's Peace Officers Day. Okay, got it
Can you hear
now.
it now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm probably doing this out of order, but, you know, so be it. Firefighter Appreciation Day. Come on, Chief. Not that you're second or anything. You know, that's just the way it became in order. Everybody know our firefighter here, our new chief. Chief now for how long?
This is the first day of the fourth week.
First day of the fourth week.
Not that I'm counting.
Okay. Proclamation announcing May 4th, 2019 as Firefighter Appreciation Day. Whereas firefighters play a critical role in providing for the safety of our city and well-being of our citizens. Whereas these men and women risk their lives in the protection of their neighbors and their communities. Whereas firefighters also promote fire safety through public education, inspection, smoke detection campaigns, and carbon monoxide detector campaigns which further protect their communities. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Mayor and City Council do hereby proclaim May 4th, 2019 as Firefighter Appreciation Day in the city of Tega. Dated this 20th day of May, 2019, David L. O'Neill, Mayor, City of Tega, South Carolina. There you go. Let's put that in that hand. And like Chief said, I'm trying to hold your hand there. Thank you very much. Okay? Thanks, Chief. Okay, next one on the list in just random order. You coming in? Oh, you're just creeping on us here, huh? Let's see what this one is. You having fun? Okay, proclamation announcing May 19th through 25th as Home Sprinkler Week. Who's getting this one? Chief again. Whereas the effects of home fires are far-reaching and long-standing, becoming deadly in less than 2 minutes due to construction materials and synthetic furnishings producing toxic smoke. Whereas combined with working smoke alarms and proper fire escape planning, fire sprinklers in all homes can reverse the effects of home fires. And whereas by taking part in National Week of Action, let us recognize that protecting new homes with fire sprinklers will make the future safer for residents, first responders, and the entire communities for generations to come. Now therefore be proclaimed that the Mayor and City Council do hereby proclaim Home Fire Sprinkler Week, May 19th through 25th, 2019, dated this 20th day of May 2019. David L. O'Neill, Mayor, City of Tega, South Carolina. Les, why don't you come up too, since you're Mr. Fire Sprinkler in Tega. He has done a lot of work for fire sprinklers. Why don't you guys hold this one? Yeah. Got it? Watch out behind you. All right, thanks a lot.
One quick comment?
Sure. There's nothing quick about your comments, though.
No, I just, on behalf of the National Fire Protection Association, I'm the state representative for public
Look that way,
education.
look that way.
And the National Fire Protection Association would like to recognize the city manager, the council, and the fire department in TUK for their foresight more than 10 years ago, having the first residential home that was sprinklered in the state of South Carolina. So, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Sprinklers are awesome. Terry Hunt. Didn't know that June 8th is National Croquet Day. You all know that, right? This is a proclamation announcing that June 8th, 2019 is National Croquet Day, whereas the U.S. Croquet Association established croquet as a serious sport in America in 1977, and whereas the U.S. Croquet Association has nearly 300 members and 3,000 members sanctioning hundreds of local, regional, national, and international tournaments each year. Whereas the Tega Croquet Club came into existence in 2008 with the construction of the croquet lawn located at Tega Golf Club. And whereas the Tega Croquet Club will be hosting the 2019 Southeastern Regional Quad Shield Tournament, June 7th through 9th, 2019. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Mayor and City Council that June 8th, 2019 is National Croquet Day, and we encourage all residents to support the National Quad Shield Tournament and to support and enjoy the sport of croquet. Signed this 20th day of May, 2019, David L. O'Neill, Mayor, City of Tega, South Carolina. Very good. There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see it. You may. Pull that bad
Our
boy.
club would like to invite all of Tega to come out on June 8th and 9th to watch this tournament. We're going to have some of the great players from the Southeast, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida come in here and play, and they're really super players. So bring your lawn chairs, your blankets, and your golf carts up here and sit around and watch. We'll be here for 2 days on Saturday and Sunday, June 8th and 9th. Thank you.
Very good. Can't wait to see it. All right. Next item on the agenda is public comments. Let me get to my public comments. Walt was first, but your question was answered. Next is Trish. Come on up. Tell me where you live and work and your blood type, and you can.
I don't think you need to know all that. Working?
Yep.
Okay. Last year, myself and Timothy Redding addressed council requesting that you consider putting in pickleball courts. And tonight, I would just like to thank you for making it happen. So we really appreciate it. The courts have been well used. I'd like to thank Charlie as well, and Joey also, for working on that for us. We even have a group of teenage boys that are regulars down there, and one of them told me that it's their favorite pastime. So, I mean, they're down there pretty much every night. But they are being well used. I already did a clinic. We had about 20 people, new players, come to that. So things are looking up and things are moving along and spreading like wildfire. So thank you very much. Oh, you must not have known that April was actually pickleball month, so you missed my proclamation. So.
Well, make a note of that.
But
With-
thank you very much.
With
for
only
making
3
that happen.
whereases. Now, I was
But
up in
thank you very
Charlotte,
much.
and I heard somebody ask where I lived, and I said TAK, and they said, "Did you know they had pickleball courts?" They said, "Did you know they had public pickleball courts?" I guess there's not a lot of public pickleball courses.
There are. No,
Yeah,
no. So thank you very much
You
for
bet.
making that happen. Appreciate it.
you bet. Mike Becker, step up and tell us where you live.
Right, Mike Becker. I'm at 364 Calming Way, and I'm here about the failure of the, this is my second time here, about the failure of the erosion control measures over at Trinity Point Townhomes. Now, you may remember that I was here in January, and in December, we had a significant failure in 2 occasions, which caused sediment to leave this job site, go down the creek, and go into the lake and accumulate in the lake in front of my house. Now, the city's done a lot of great things, okay, from an environmental perspective. I mean, you got the tree ordinance. You spent a lot of time and effort on the recycling program. But, you guys are totally missing the boat on erosion control. This is the second time in 2 years that I've had this issue, okay? And when it was when it was announced in the paper that they were gonna start the development, I called the city and I asked specifically, what are you gonna do to make sure that doesn't happen again? And I was assured by the city that they had to approve the erosion control plan and this wasn't gonna happen. Well, the first time it happened is because there was a double silt fence. And, you know, it rained and it went through the fence. Well, what was the erosion control plan at Trinity Point? Boy, there's another double silt fence. And it was even worse this time, okay, because if you've seen that property, it goes all the way down, it slopes all the way down right to the creek. So I think the biggest evidence that that wasn't done properly to begin with, and that plan should have never been improved, is if you go over there now, it's not a double silt fence anymore, okay? There's an engineered retention pond with dikes and berms and concrete towers and culverts, okay? That's what it took to contain that, and that's what should have been done before 1 yard of dirt was ever moved on that site. So, you know, I've been in contact with the city, and I'm quite frankly not happy with the response I've gotten the first time, and I'm not happy with the response I've gotten the second time. I feel like I've been given lip service on the issue and contrived excuses, and I've asked nicely, and I'm done asking nicely. So what I'm here tonight is to ask that the city enforce the rules and regulations and state laws and federal laws and require the developer to come out and remove the sediment that's in the lake on or before June 10th. And I would like to get a weekly report every Friday of what the progress is on with respect to that.
All right, thank you. Has Tom been on top of this?
Yes, sir, along with DHEC officials, and that's been communicated to Mr. Becker on more than one occasion. I've been copied to those along with Mr. Machunas.
Through emails?
Yes, sir.
Could you forward some of those emails tomorrow?
Sure, be glad to.
We forward them to all council.
May I, I've been involved in some of the communications with DHEC, and Mike and I are neighbors. Let me say that up front. And that was one of my main concerns. Even before I ran for council, I came and spoke before I ran. DHEC has come, they did come look. Tom and Russell from DHEC and myself, we walked the plan. The gentleman at DHEC did agree that there had been a lack of planning and some failures in the erosion control plan. We talked about remediation in terms of there appears to be a delta that has formed at where the creek empties into Lake Wiley that was not there before they started building the townhomes. I don't know the rules and regulations. I don't know who asks. I don't know who enforces. I do know Russell with DHEC has implied, well, he said there's no reason to start remediation until there's a solid plan in place, and that's corrected. I just got an email from him today that said there's been great progress made. The implication to me is that when this is done and they've stopped moving dirt and they know that there's a solid plan in place, is that there would be remediation. I mean, maybe, Charlie, you can answer this question. When that time comes, is remediation ordered by the city, by DHEC, by either, by or, by both? Okay.
The city is the permitting agency. We are the MS4. The developer has complied with the DHEC-approved stormwater plans. There was a breach in his silt fence. The developer / grader knows that they do have to clean up down there at the mouth of the creek. They know that, but per DHEC's suggestions, which I know he has shared with Mr. Becker via email, is not until the site is stabilized. Keep working on stabilizing the site. The plans haven't changed, as was indicated. Construction projects have to start somewhere. And they start with silt fence going in, and then you start putting in the erosion control measures, all of which the grader has put in to the engineered specifications. So they are following the plan, and we are following DHEC's advice to encourage them to continue towards getting all their BMPs installed, getting the site stabilized, and then go clean up. And that's exactly what we're doing per DHEC's, DHEC's direction, I should say. Yes, sir. But any non-compliance on the grader comes to us. We are the enforcement agency on that. Yes, sir.
Is there, is the double silk fence a minimum requirement for erosion control? or
It's a
is-
normal, I would say is a normal requirement that it goes in until your sediment basins are installed, till your pipe gets installed, till your diversion ditches and berms and rock ditch checks and everything else. They start with installing wire reinforced double row silt fence. I've not seen a project not start that way. Yeah, you got to start somewhere until you can get the equipment in there. Unfortunately, they were trying to install a sediment basin during a time period where we got 50-plus inches of rain. No, sir. I'm having a conversation with City Council and answering council questions. We do not approve the SWIP, the Stormwater Prevention Pollution Plan. The engineers do. Okay, they
Right, that's
review
the
the plans, and they send it to the state for final approval. That is correct. Once the state gives back that letter of approval, then we inspect to make sure that they follow that plan to the letter. Thus far, they have been. Do breaches happen? Absolutely. Happened on the elementary school site. Yeah, there are going to be point in time when grading projects are absolutely at a vulnerable site or a vulnerable stage until 100% of the BMPs can be installed, until it can be, site can be stabilized, grass, seeded, yeah, that type thing. And there are going to be times where they are vulnerable. DHEC, by their own regulations, only requires 80% retainage on the entire site. So you're looking at a SWIP that covers a little over 50 acres. You can imagine what 20% of that looks like. It's not small by any stretch. There has been an offsite. I have discussed that personally with the developer, and they know that they will be cleaning that up.
At what point do they clean up?
Once they've got the site stabilized, so I would say probably here in the next month or so, at the rate that they're going, weather permitting. You're looking mid-late summer, I would think.
And then who inspects that?
We will. And Russell that Mr. Machunas was referencing, we've invited him up. He came up once, I think at Mr. Becker's request, came up the second time at our request. We'll have him come up again, to make sure we're all looking at the same thing and agree with the best path forward.
So
Absolutely.
this is a work in progress. We're not anywhere
Correct.
near done yet.
Correct.
But
Yes,
do you
sir.
feel with Gus's involvement in the project, and obviously your intimate knowledge of from start to finish to where we are now, that the city itself has done its part to
Yes, sir.
ensure to comply with state and federal regulations?
Yes, sir.
How do you feel about this?
I mean, if I knew what the regulations were, I mean, has the city been involved from day one? Yes. Whenever I've asked for anything, anybody to come inspect the site or whatever, Charlie, Tom, other staff members have come out and looked. I'm a council member and I'm a resident, so, it's hard for me to say both ways. I will say, for me, I'd like to see the remediation, but if the process is control the situation first and then remediate, it's fine. I'm just looking for an end result that remediation will happen and it will be ordered, and I think that's what Mr. Becker is asking as well. People, we're supposed to protect our water. I mean, that's a big part of what Tega is.
Absolutely.
And I believe it's been fouled. But as long as I know that remediation is at the end of this tunnel that we're on, I'm satisfied as a resident and as a council member.
And
That
is there
makes
any
sense.
repercussion if we don't comply by the June 10th deadline? set
I don't
by
know
the
where the
resident in
June
the
10th
audience?
I don't know where that deadline came from.
Okay, I was just asking.
So if they don't do what they're supposed to do,
Well, they will face enforcement.
because they don't have to, I mean, what can we do to go back and what, fine them, or what? They don't get special permits, they don't get,
They will have to go
they don't
through.
get final,
The grading company that we're talking about is a very reputable firm in the York County area. DHEC has lots of permits with them, with this specific company, but yes, there is by ordinance, there is an enforcement action and steps that we will take if they are non-compliant. Absolutely.
How,
As we would with any grader or developer.
how often do we run into these issues, would you say, that silk fences?
Occasionally. Yeah, usually we see it more on the individual lots, because you've got the builder, not the grader, who's more concerned about, got to get the house done because somebody's ready to move in, and they start ignoring the silt fence around their individual lot. But those are inspected almost daily. The big sites, the larger sites, are inspected every 7 days, or after a significant rainfall, which according to DHEC regs is anything over a half inch. We have inspectors that spend a lot of time on stormwater inspections. And those inspectors are certified through the state.
any other comments from council? All right. Next item is item 3, approval of minutes. Council, you read the minutes. Any additions, deletions, changes? All right, the minutes stand as published. Item 4, committee reports, TK Forever Foundation. Is that you?
Yep.
Heather Overman.
Okay, so TKK Forever met Monday, May 6th. Just a few updates from them. The Veterans Memorial 5K will take place on Sunday, May 26th, this coming Sunday at 6 p.m. Proceeds benefit the Fisher House, which benefits military personnel, and then also Catawba Park. It's $30 per person for the 5K and $10 per family for a fun 1-mile walk. Come out, we'd love to see you this coming Sunday. And then the other thing that we just wrapped up was the Taste of York County, so that was a major discussion point at this meeting. We raised just over $13,300 for All Play Together. Pretty phenomenal event. We had over 350 people in attendance. Everyone had a great time. I don't think I came up to anyone that they want to see more of these kinds of events and how can we make this happen again. So I want to say thank you to all the vendors, to the Shore Club, John Weinbrenner, Laura Saunders with All Play Together, Visit York County, city staff, Charlie, Joey, Lacey, and Gus for the idea. But we're looking forward to next year. We're going to put on a similar event. All proceeds next year will benefit Catawba Park. And we'll do it in more than 4 weeks, right? Yeah.
Quarterly.
Nothing like throwing things together at the last minute. Thanks, Lacey. Made it happen. That's it.
All right. Item 5, committee appointments. Do we have a winner?
Yes, sir, you do. By majority vote, you had Mr. Chris Halverson.
Chris Halverson.
So if you can actually do a motion and a formal vote. But your nominee on your ballots was Mr. Halverson. So.
All right, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Christoph Halverson to the Economic Development
I have
Commission.
a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's passes. You can take a victory lap if you like. Item 6, unfinished business. 6A, let me see. Get to my. All right, this is the second reading of an ordinance to provide regulations for use of the Fort Mill River access. The Fort Mill River access has been within the city's jurisdictions for several years, and as such, our public safety staff are the first responders to incidents of the river and at the river launch area on New Gray Rock Road. Parking is extremely limited at this facility, and over the past 2 summers, it has been almost impossible to get public safety into the facility due to the extreme number of cars. The parking situation is further complicated by the outdoor outfitters occupying the large areas and meeting their patrons at the site. On January 1st, 2019, the city began its lease of the river launch area, and as such are now responsible for the care, maintenance, and operation of the area. The regulations considered in this ordinance put the emphasis and priority on the general public user while still allowing outdoor outfitters to drop off and pick up their clientele at the river launch area versus meeting them on the site. It also requires the outfitters to obtain a city business license in order to utilize the public facility as part of their business. Are there any questions by council?
I just want to
Comments?
comment, and I guess just ask Charlie, do you mind just verifying our conversation that we had earlier in
Sure.
explaining what an outfitter can do on site? I know that I've met with a couple of the outfitters out there to talk through what the current conditions are and how this ordinance will impact them going forward.
Sure. So currently at the river launch, we've already had the parking lot restriped. There's now a designated area specific for the outfitters, and it's an area, the paved parking lot, that gives them access to a nice grass area beside them to give them kind of room to stretch out a little bit. They're able to show up, set up, inflate their inner tubes, things like that, meet their patrons there, get them on the river. What they're not allowed to do is occupy any area of the lot that they want, or lots of extra spaces in the lot. They're not allowed to just sit out there all day long, taking up walk-up orders, that kind of thing. But booking their business ahead of time, which we understand the vast majority of their business is that online booking ahead of time. Do that, come out, get your rafts inflated, get your folks in the water, head on down to Rock Hill, pick them up, bring them back up and get their cars. Outside of that, got to have a business license. So that's basically in a nutshell what we're looking for with this ordinance. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for verifying.
Charlie, one quick, with their clientele will be parked elsewhere. Is that correct? They're going to
No,
shuttle
so
them
they
in?
can, I mean, they can, we prefer they park elsewhere, if they have that means, but if they're parking there, I mean, it is an open public access. The biggest thing we're trying to prevent is people showing up and looking for outfitters to rent from just by happenstance showing up. Book it ahead of time, come with the rafts that for the people you've booked, get them down the river.
And because they'd be a city business, they'd have a city business license, they would
Correct.
be listed on
Yes,
on the
ma'am.
vendor list.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
people were looking for outfitters to use. Whatever outfitters did have a City of TK business license, they'd be able to see
That is correct,
those
with their
names of those
contact info.
businesses
Yes,
online.
ma'am.
Okay.
And we should have that list updated. It's an ongoing process, but because of the delay on the business license renewal year, probably going to be 1st of June before we've got it completely updated. But I know Barbie and Tom and the development services staff are working on that. But they get back up to full strength on Tuesday, fully staffed, which will be good. Tom's been a little stressed lately.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any public comments?
The way I've read it, and the way I understand it, that's not the way it's worded. Is that correct? I mean, is it worded that our patrons could park in the area and
It doesn't mention your patrons. It only talks about the outfitters.
outfitter services, yeah, outfitter services, not being able to park in that area?
No, it says we actually gave you a place to park.
For us, but for customers.
No, we're not regulating your customers.
So they can park there. It's written it's worded that way in the ordinance.
No, we don't refer to your patrons, to my knowledge.
I mean, the way the email that y'all had sent me, it was worded that they would not.
We
be allowed.
prefer that you bring your patrons in so that parking can be more available for the general public. We absolutely prefer that. But we're not going to stop people from the public from accessing the boat launch. What we're doing is regulating the businesses that are occupying the spaces down there.
Yeah, what I'm worried about is the wording in the ordinance. I mean,
We're not doing anything with your customers. They can park wherever they want. The public can park wherever they want. It's businesses. We got you your own little separate area down there.
I had no problem with that. But yeah, I mean, the way that was really originally presented to me is we would not be able to, inflate, prepare our equipment and/or allow customers to park in the area.
Customers can park
So-
wherever they want.
Just to verify, in the language of the ordinance, Section 2 states, outfitters shall not park at or use the access area anytime unless they have received prior written authorization from the city, which the city may withhold in its sole discretion. So, and then it continues, outfitters may shuttle patrons to the access area provided they have obtained a city business license. et cetera, et cetera. So
Correct. It
to
doesn't
me,
say
the
they have to,
interpretation.
doesn't say they shall.
Yep,
It
yep.
says
So
you may
so
shuttle them in.
what it does is it gives the city the flexibility that if the outfitter is not performing or not abiding by the rules and regulations that are required or expected of them, that the city has the legal authority to tell the outfitter they're no longer able to
But
operate.
also, that's also kind of vague as well. I mean, it's just basically discretionary. That whether I'm complying or not, you know, could be
Is it vague?
misinterpreted, easily misinterpreted.
It gives us the flexibility to respond the most appropriate way to make sure that we're managing our facilities and the expectations are set for outfitters. So I think that, given that interpretation and the city manager's confirmation of that, the city manager's confirmed that patrons are able to park there. I think it's a good compromise in making sure that we're taking public safety into consideration first, but then also have taken measures to make sure that, or to allow outfitters to continue to operate.
All righty.
Thank you. All right, it's time to vote. All in favor, please signify. Oh, I'm sorry, did we not make a motion?
Mr. Mayor and members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the second reading of an ordinance to provide for the regulations for the use of the Fort Mill River access area.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's unanimous. Item 6B is the second reading of an ordinance approving the sewer easement for 4028 Windward Drive. There is a city-owned sewer line running across 4028 Windward Drive that does not have an easement. This is part of a sewer system, part of the sewer system the city purchased in 2014. The document being considered this evening by the city council are necessary to correct this and provide for a sewer easement. Fun stuff. Is there any questions?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I will abstain
Because this is part of
from
your
this motion.
family, correct?
Correct.
All right. Ryan Richard is abstaining because this is a family member of his. He is not voting on this. Are there any questions on this? No. Are there any questions from the public? All right, I will consider a motion.
Mayor and members of council, motion to approve the second reading of an ordinance approving the settlement agreement for the sewer easement at 4028 Windward Drive and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents necessary to close.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any questions, comments? All right, it's time to vote. Everybody in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's unanimous. Item 6C is the second reading of an ordinance to enter into utility asset agreement, emergency water connection agreement, and sewer agreement with York County. These three complex agreements are another example of how government entities should work together for the betterment of people they serve. In short, the city will receive large service territory of future water and sewer customers and will take ownership of the county's water line that used to serve traditional TK. The city will now own that line starting at Palmetto West instead of Shoreline Parkway. This will add some immediate commercial utility service, some utility customers that are currently outside of our city limits but completely surrounded by the city. In these agreements, there is also some provisions for the county to construct, own, and operate and maintain a regional lift station that will accept flow from Windhaven and these future areas. This helps the county with their sewer system by allowing them to put this lift station within our territory, and the city doesn't have the expense of maintaining it. Tell you, it just doesn't get any better than this sometimes. I tell you. It's just, it is really fun stuff. Are there any questions from council?
I've got a question.
Yes.
Sorry. So, city manager, are you able to talk us through the capital costs of the acquisition of these assets, and then also how it will be funded?
Cost are zero.
The costs are zero?
Yes, ma'am.
So,
They're just transferring the line over to us.
so the city shall have to place or install a partial flume sewer flow meter at a manhole point?
That'll be done by the developer for Windhaven.
Okay, so all these things that are listed in here that are the city's responsibility are covered by the developer?
Other than the maintenance of the line. And we'll, at final read, we will have to change over water meters for the existing customers. It's a negligible cost, but we will have that. But as far as the hooking up to the county sewer and things like that, that'll be done by Lennar Homes, the developer for Windhaven.
Okay, thanks for that. And
Yes,
then,
ma'am.
sorry, if I may continue.
No, you may, because this is really interesting stuff.
So my next question is, so will those customers that are within that area now get two bills, one from the city for water and then one from the county? Or how
No,
would that?
they actually aren't on sewer, so the existing county customers, they're on septic. So they will get a final bill once we've relocated our meter out to the Hubert Graham Way area, the connection meter that's now at Shoreline and Tega Drive. They will get a final bill from the county, and then they'll start getting water bills from the city.
Okay. And one last question, just to verify the communications plan that we're taking to notify customers?
Yes,
Can you talk us through
between
that?
us and York County, we will be coordinating that effort because it's the county's customers.
Okay.
So we'll be coordinating that. County did first read of this same ordinance on May 1st with no issues. They are considering second read tonight. They won't do their third and final read until June. The first, I think it's June 3rd, will be there. And then we've got to execute all the paperwork, file it, and things like that. Those customers probably don't transfer over to us until probably September, once we move the meters. So they'll remain county customers until we're able to move that connection point.
Okay. Thank you.
So plenty of notification be sent to them. Yes, ma'am.
Great, thanks.
Any questions about the sewer line out there? Mike, you look very interested. All your questions have been answered. All right, I will consider a motion.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, a motion to approve the second reading of an ordinance to enter into a utility asset agreement, an emergency water connection agreement, and a sewer agreement with York County, and authorize the city manager to execute all documents associated with said agreements.
I have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. It's time to vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. It's amazing, that passed unanimously. All right, let's go to new business. This now, it really does get fun. Item 7A, resolution approving the employee handbook. Let's see. All right, the city's last employee handbook was adopted in September of 2013. Policies have been adopted since 2013 publication, or were appendices of the 2013 version, have been made and part of the body of the updated version. We have had to include new laws that have been adopted by the state or FLSA. This document has been reviewed by the city's labor attorney and found to be sound and comprehensive. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor, if
Yes,
I
sir.
can,
Yes, sir.
our labor attorney has not 100% completed her review yet, but we're only anticipating some wordsmithing things. She is still working through it. She just got a little behind. So did want to put that out there as council is considering a motion. Perhaps it's contingent upon the final review from
Should we
our
table this
labor
till
attorney.
next?
I don't think so, because she should be finished here in the
Okay.
next week or so. We're not going to roll it out until such time that we've gotten that stamp of approval, but
So we can
she's
still-
looking at the mays and the shalls, that type thing, but everything's pretty standard in there. So did want to put that out to you. She notified us on Friday that she just got behind and hadn't 100% completed her review yet, so.
Dora, you feel pretty confident we're good with this one? Okay. I'll go with Dora's word on that then. Dora gives me the thumbs up, we're good. Any questions or comments? None?
Okay. Motion to approve the resolution adopting the City of TK Employee Handbook, revised May 2019, contingent upon review by the city labor attorney.
Good enough. I have a motion, I have a second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? It's unanimous. Now the really fun stuff. We've been waiting on this for a long time in the city of TK. I'm serious, this is really a long time coming. We have, I think, since Ryan and I have been on, we've been looking to kind of fix some stuff, spruce them up for a long time. So this one is really going to be fun. This is going to be interesting to read. So this one is, since the inception of Tega, Tega has been known as the recreational community of Lake Wiley. Several of our amenities need improvement, to say the least. And updating, as many of you know, has been requested for a long time. The following areas have been identified by council and staff and the public as areas that you've been wanting to tackle before the end of this fiscal year, to include Rundy Park concession, restroom building, remodel bathrooms, to include adding an additional toilet and some fixtures in each one to make it ADA accessible, expand the deck area for seating, Turner Field restroom buildings, replacing siding around the building and fixtures as necessary within the restrooms, Trailhead Park basketball court, install steps down to the court from the parking lot, restripe the court, improve drainage around the court, and repair the fencing, install 2 bocce ball courts at the Tega Golf Club, including seating and shade structure, Windjammer Park, install terraced areas for seating on the Torrance Creek side of the park, and demolish the existing bathroom pavilion and construct a new facility with dual fixtures in each restroom, storage and covered picnic area. And I hear cheering all around the homes that are watching on TV right now. So if you wondered what the installed terraced area, that's when you're watching the water skiing area. There's little terraced areas there where it's completely sloped now, where you can bring your lawn chairs and see it there and watch the kids on the water ski in there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And if this isn't unanimous, I don't know how it's ever going to be, what we can do to get unanimous. Well, we do a lot of unanimous stuff here. So we've been working on this for quite a while. And this is all basically H-Tax fund and grants from the state, right?
The entire Windjammer would be, the improvements there would be funded through a water recreation improvements fund with SEDNR. The rest of it would be $78,500 out of our H-Tax. Yes, sir.
Yep.
So is it legal for all 5 of us to make the motion at the same time?
Bob says no. He wants to do it.
Yeah. Y'all take
Let
turns?
Mayor do it.
Huh?
Go ahead, Mayor.
Mayor do it.
All right.
But then we'll all second.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2019 Parks and Recreation Improvement Plan and authorize the city manager to allocate the necessary funds not to exceed $78,100 from HTAC revenues for these projects. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have 4 seconds.
I do have a couple
Yes,
comments.
couple
if that's okay.
comments.
I just wanted to add, if we don't mind, now that we made the motion, I don't know if this is okay, but I did mention this to the city manager when we met last week about just adding some cleanup to the area that leads up and around the tennis court. Okay.
That should be happening week after next.
Okay.
They've been focused on a lot of Memorial Day and end of season stuff, our park maintenance guys. But the things we discussed are all operational type things, and they'll get those knocked out here in the next week or 2.
Okay, so for
Yes,
the
ma'am.
pickleball folks, just know that we've also paid attention to the area around the tennis pickleball courts, and hopefully that will get cleaned up as well. And then I really do want to take a moment just to thank this council and Mayor Pro Tem for your leadership in getting this Parks and Rec improvement plan.
Well, this
to
is
City
everybody,
Council.
to tell you the truth. Everybody worked on this real hard.
And the collaborative effort, and this really did start last year. In our conversations after the citizen survey, we started reviewing a lot of the feedback that was provided, not only in that report directly from our residents here in Tega, but also a lot of you who we've spoken to throughout the year. So we appreciate your feedback, and hopefully folks will be enjoying these recreational facilities for many years to come.
Any comments from the public? All right.
Awesome.
Well, it hadn't passed yet. Cross your fingers to see if it passes. Okay, time to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's unanimous. All right, kind of figured that would go. Thanks for staff for working so hard on this. We really, really, really do appreciate it. All right, item 7C, discussion of the tobacco ban at all workplaces and city facilities. In 2015, the city enacted an ordinance restricting the use of smoked tobacco products at all parks and recreation facilities to designated areas. The purpose of this agenda item is to provide City Council the opportunity to discuss if we want to amend our code and expand that restriction to all tobacco products, vaping, and e-cigarettes, or do a complete ban of the aforementioned items at all city-owned facilities. Currently, the state has the Clean Indoor Air Act that prohibits smoking in government-owned facilities, which is why there is no smoking allowed at restaurants or bars. The city owns those facilities. There are many cities all over South Carolina that have adopted smoke-free workplaces to include Fort Mill, Rock Hill, Charleston, Greenville, Hilton Head, Beaufort, Clemson, and York County. These local ordinances don't just apply to government-owned facilities. They apply to all workplaces, including bars and restaurants, and in some cases, outdoor parks and recreational facilities. Okay, hit it. Anybody who wants to discuss?
All workplaces, including bars and restaurants, as far as applied to for city-owned facilities. Would that include the deck at the clubhouse, both back porch, outdoor decking?
Right now, it doesn't. It could, depending on which direction council wants to go with it.
I'm not a tobacco user, so I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but I know it does a lot of people. And vaping is the new thing now.
Have we had complaints specifically around?
Not to me.
The restaurant or the golf course?
Not that I'm aware of, no ma'am. Council doesn't want to expand anything or move it forward, then, I mean, that's fine. This was to give you all an opportunity to discuss it. I was instructed that it needed to be it was asked to be an item of discussion, so here it is.
Anybody out there want to comment on vaping, tobacco, dipping, snuffing, whatever? Walt, you want to say anything about it?
I mean, if we're gonna, I mean, the way it's being proposed, if we ban one, we ban all, correct?
Probably.
You don't have
wouldn't.
to. It's whatever you want.
Yep.
And
whatever-
how does,
whatever you want.
since John runs the restaurant, how's he feel about?
Well, it's a 30, I think we should start the 30-day process of starting it here, and then we continue on, next time.
The way it's presented on the agenda, you wouldn't be able to take action
Yeah,
tonight.
we're not taking
This
any
is just
action.
for you to
Right.
discuss, give us direction on what you want as next steps, if any.
I personally think it's a waste of time. That's just me.
Okay.
There's not any complaints.
I tend to agree with that. I think, obviously for our staff and for, us specifically, I think we can fall into this, and obviously city-operated buildings, but outside of that, I don't know if I'm ready to take that jump right now.
Can folks smoke at the pool, like inside the pool area? Okay.
No, it's, we have designated area outside in the parking lot area,
Yeah.
but not on the pool deck, not inside the fenced-in area, no ma'am. And at all the playgrounds, park areas, we have smoking urns as a designated area out in the parking lot, away from the ball fields, away from the actual playgrounds, as per the existing language in the code.
Easy enough.
I think we're good.
Okay, well, let's just start 30-day comments. If anybody wants to comment towards us, we'll make note of it. If anybody has anything for next time, then we'll kill it then. Okay? All right, let's go to item 8, City Manager's Report. Charlie Funderburk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. As Mayor Pro Tem Overman alluded to earlier in her remarks, the Memorial Day 5K and 1 Mile Family Fun Walk will be this Sunday at 6 p.m. Starts right up here at the clubhouse. Registration information is on our website. The Veterans Association has partnered with the city this year, or I should say the city has partnered with the Veterans Association this year for the event, and 50% of the proceeds will go to the Fisher House, and 50% going to Catawba Park, and there is live music after the race. So if you are decide not to run the hills of TGK or do the fun walk, definitely come on up and enjoy the entertainment afterwards. On Memorial Day Monday, May 27th, even though city offices are closed, the Veterans Association will be hosting the annual Memorial Day ceremony out at the Veterans Memorial in the Living Memorial Gardens. That will start at 10 a.m. It's a great ceremony. If you've never been, definitely encourage you to come up with the family. It's an awesome time. I'll skip that one. Let's Taste of York County. We covered that. First open house at the Beach and Swim Center was amazing this past weekend. Thank you to our Parks and Rec staff for working through that, and our pool manager. We sold 30 new membership packages during that 12 to 2 time frame, and we expect that to continue to climb. If you haven't gotten your membership yet, don't worry, you still can. It's going to be hot this weekend, really, really hot. So come hang out with us down at the pool. Second concert was this past Saturday. Saturday was a busy day. Great attendance again. Our next show is going to be on June 15th with Kids in America. Again, that's all up at Rundy Park. Mayor and council, thank you for your foresight and for approving the much-needed funding for Parks and Recreation. Talking with our Parks and Recreation Director, Joey Blethen, we're excited to get started. And as soon as we can wrap up some things in early June with baseball tournaments and concerts and things like that, we're going to jump on it. So late June and July and early August are going to be extremely busy. Quick update on the SCDNR funding for Windjammer. As soon as DNR gets the approval from the York County delegation, we can start. We've got a year from the time that we actually signed the agreement. So waiting until after Labor Day and things like that and doing that in a early mid-fall, or even if we wanted to do it as we come through the winter months, we definitely have time to get that done during a off-season time where it won't interrupt activities at the park, because we will have to shut down the park during the construction that'll be going on up there. But our maintenance staff has already started working on some terracing up there, so should be able to see the terracing pretty soon. It was more labor than anything else, so should have that installed before the first ski show. And last but not least, council, I did send out a calendar invite, which I think most of you all have already accepted. August 1st, that's a Thursday at 6 o'clock. We'll be doing the budget workshop with you guys. So that gives us time to get that done and get the notifications, necessary notifications to the press for the public hearing at your August 19th meeting. And that concludes my report for this evening, sir.
All right, council comments. We'll start with Ryan Richard.
I'm all good.
Okay.
Alicia?
I just want to start off by congratulating Susan Brett, one of the City of TK's planning staff members, for retiring. How many years did she have in local government in total?
30 plus,
30 plus years.
but she comes back on Tuesday.
Absolutely. So
she had to do her
she's-
mandatory separation.
She's taking
Yes,
her
ma'am.
break, but I just wanted to give a shout out to Susan and congratulate her, because she's been a long time public servant, and we appreciate the work she's done. I want to take a moment to welcome the Carolina Panthers to York County. Woohoo! Keep pounding. To all those Panther fans out there and the football team, we've got great restaurants and places to shop here in TK. So be sure you stop by at exit 88 and go down Gold Hill Road till you hit the lake. And we've got beautiful recreational facilities that you're welcome to use as long as you have a parking pass, which can be acquired at City Hall. And then lastly, I'd like to ask City Council and the City Manager to consider, for this next budget process, taking a look at the criteria for GFOA's Budget Presentation Award, and what the criteria outlines are best practices throughout local governments all throughout the country, and it takes those and it says the best budgets throughout the country have this type of information in them, and it lays out the different criteria that make for a really great budget book. And so what I'd like to ask is for us to consider taking a look at that and and perhaps directing the city manager to take a look at that. And GFOA is Government Finance Officers Association, so GFOA. And I can send city council and the city manager an email with a link to all the information on how to go throughout that process. And we don't have to apply for the budget or for the award if we don't want to, but I'd just like us to follow the criteria guidelines.
All right, Gus?
Wow, how do I follow that? Chris, welcome. Your appointment, congratulations. I'm, as everyone else, just really, really excited about the parks and getting something done there. And I think probably want to make clear to everyone once again that the majority of this and everything that we're going to do at Windjammer is going to be funded by a grant. So it's not coming from out of the city. And thank you, Wes, for that. Reiterate what Heather said, Taste of York County was one heck of a success. Raised $13,000, more than $13,000 to go towards the All Play Together, all-inclusive park. Thank you to everybody who made that happen. I can't wait to do that next year with more time to plan it and maybe double how much money we raised and take that towards Catawba Park. Happy Memorial Day to everyone. It is boating safety, so you know those that are going to be on the water, this is the beginning of the craziness. So if you're out there this weekend, please be careful and enjoy some time with your family, but enjoy safe time with your family.
Thanks, Gus. Heather?
I'm good.
Oh, good. Okay. Yes, Taste of York was incredible. It was awesome. I don't think we should, can't we do it like every 6 months maybe? It really was incredible. It was the most fun I've had in a long time. My waistline was, I can't handle it, but it was good. Veterans Day, I think we do it at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock? Not. 10 o'clock, okay. We have a guest speaker is Brigadier General Jones from the National Guard. He'll be there. And I understand he's a dynamic speaker, so please come to that. Other than that, have a good, safe Memorial Weekend. Thanks a lot. And with that, somebody make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to go into executive session.
Oh, motion to go into executive session.
Right,
I
isn't that what we're doing?
second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No, it's unanimous.